The concept of a parallel universe is not a new one. It's well known that throughout history, earliest man has believed in multiverses. The belief goes back thousands of years, from native North American peoples to indigenous South American peoples, through Central America and beyond. Belief that we are not the only time and place in the vast universe, and the wonderment of another, us, is clear throughout history. Claire Rivers had never considered the concept or belief of other universes coexisting with ours, and wasn't on that day either, as she walked head down, trying to follow the instructions on her phone to get her to the cafe where she was to meet her friend. She'd flown into the city the night before. She was 22 years old and excited to begin her life, her career in home design, away from the small town she'd grown up in, with wheat fields as far as the eye could see. Ben Travers was a recent college grad, on his way to what he thought was the biggest opportunity of his life. As his arms were full of graphs and information, packets, and his coffee, his glasses slid down his nose while he tried unsuccessfully to juggle everything that he was carrying. When he tripped over a divot in the crosswalk and began to stumble forward, his paperwork fell to the ground at the feet of Claire Rivers, who hadn't seen him coming. Her gaze was so intent on her phone, and when she took her next step, she stepped on Ben's hand as he reached to stop his files from blowing into the wind, while also trying not to spill his hot cup of coffee. This paperwork was Ben's lifetime of study, albeit he was only 23 years old, but even as a young boy, he'd been thinking of déjà vu, that strange feeling that one gets that they've been here before, seen that before, said that before. And for his thesis, he'd not only suggested but attempted to prove his hypothesis that those fleeting moments are memories or coexisting selves in a parallel universe. He'd interviewed literally thousands of volunteers who claimed to have experienced déjà vu more than 3 times in their lives. He questioned how they felt. Was it more like a memory or a dream? How had they reacted? Did they try and pull the strange feeling up through the spider webs of time and memory and experience? Had they ever pinpointed the exact memory, or was it always just out of reach? He concluded that he could scientifically back up the theory of dual universes, perhaps multiple timelines coexisting simultaneously within this, our current reality. He had an interview with an exciting new company hiring young scientists to think outside of the boxes they've been told to fit in their entire lives. The company was called Alula, which also happens to be the name of one of the first twin stars ever discovered. Claire came crashing down onto Ben, knocking his coffee out of his hand and crushing his other under her right knee. Oh, my's, and excuse me's, and apologies were passed back and forth as a bus came up and over the hill, slamming its brakes until the smoke was barreling out of the tires and stopped just inches from the pair, who barely took notice as they gazed into each other's eyes for just a moment. Ben never made it to his appointment, and Claire didn't meet her friend. Ben and Claire went to a small coffee shop on the corner, took a seat outside under an umbrella, and talked for 5 straight hours, until one suggested that they grab something to eat, which they did. And Eventually, the two got married. Ben taught science, and Claire became a well-respected interior designer, and they had two handsome, intelligent sons. They were married for 58 years and died within hours of each other. Claire came crashing down onto Ben, knocking his coffee out of his hand and crushing his other under her right knee. Oh, my's, and excuse me's, and apologies were passed back and forth as a bus came up and over the hill, slamming on its brakes until smoke was barreling out of its tires. But it was too late. The steel and glass bore down on the two and snatched their young lives away. Witnesses claimed that the pair never seemed to take notice as they gazed into each other's eyes for just a moment. Thank you for coming to my channel. If you are not subscribed and you would like to be, please do so. If you would like to give this a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it, and share it with your friends and family. If you'd like to be notified when my content goes live, please go ahead and click that bell. Good night.